What's something your family still doesn't know you know? So this happened when I was in college. I was home for summer break in Bordeaux one night. My brother Josh, 29 at the time, had asked me to grab his laptop from his car so he could check something for work. He had moved back home temporarily while his place was being renovated. When I went to get it, I noticed an envelope sticking out of his glove compartment that had fallen open. Wasn't trying to snoop far, but the words, Chili support payment confirmation, were literally right there in all caps at the top. My brain kind of short-circuited for a sec because, what? Josh doesn't have kids. I had to read it a few times to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. The document showed he'd been making monthly payments of $620 for the past 3 years to someone named Sophia. The address was in a town about 45 minutes away. I quickly took a pic with my phone and put everything back exactly how I found it. I brought him his laptop and tried to act completely normal, but inside I was freaking out. Josh has always been the perfect child in our family. The one who got straight A's, never caused problems, and supposedly followed all our parents' super traditional values. They're constantly talking about how they can't wait for him to settle down and give them grandchildren. Little did they know. For the next few days I watched him like a hawk. He occasionally get calls that he'd taken private, stepping outside or into another room. Once I heard him say, "I'll try to come by this weekend," before quickly ending the call when I walked into the kitchen. I debated just asking him directly, but TBH I was kind of scared of how he'd react. We've never been super close. He's always been a bit distant and private. If he'd kept this secret for years, would he even tell me the truth? So I did something kind of messed up. I followed him one Saturday when he said he was meeting a friend. I borrowed my roommate's car so he wouldn't recognize me and kept my distance. He drove to a park in that same town on the payment slip. And that's when I saw them. Josh, a woman around his age, I'm guessing Sophia, and a little boy who looked exactly like him. Same eyes, same smile, same everything. They spent about 2 hours at the park, and the way Josh interacted with the kid was so natural, pushing him on swings, teaching him to throw a ball. At one point the boy called him daddy, and Josh picked him up and hugged him tight. My mind was absolutely blown watching this whole secret life my brother had. Like, who even is this person I thought I knew? When they were leaving, Josh kissed Sophia goodbye. Not like a passionate kiss, but definitely not a platonic one either. It was clear they had history and some kind of ongoing relationship. I drove home before Josh did and went straight to my room, trying to process everything. Our parents are super religious and would lose their minds if they knew Josh had a kid out of wedlock. He'd be basically disowned. Our extended family would treat him like he had some contagious disease. I grew up watching a cousin get completely cut off for something similar. Over the next week I did some social media digging and found Sophia's profile. It was mostly private, but I could see she'd been a student at the same college as Josh around the same time. I calculated based on the kid's apparent age that he was probably conceived during Josh's senior year. I've kept the secret for 4 years now. Josh still visits them regularly, always with some excuse about work trips or seeing old college friends. Our parents still have no idea they have a grandson. Every time our mom talks about wine grandchildren, I see this flash of something in Josh's eyes. Guilt, sadness, IDK. The kid, who I learned, is named Ethan. Our parents would absolutely adore him if they knew he existed. Last Christmas, Josh and I were alone in the kitchen and he got a call. I could tell from his face it was about his son. After he hung up, I almost told him I knew, but something stopped me. Maybe I'm respecting his privacy, or maybe I'm just avoiding the drama.